Hey, welcome. So, have you ever found yourself in a full-on battle with your word processor, just trying to get things to look right? If that sounds familiar, then you are in the right place. We're about to pull back the curtain on the secret weapon that pretty much all academics and scientists use to make these absolutely stunning professional documents, but without all the headache. We are talking about LaTeX.
You know the feeling, right? You spend like hours trying to make an image stay put, or your bibliography numbering suddenly decides to go completely rogue. It is so frustrating when the software gets in the way of your actual ideas. But what if there was a better way?
Okay, so let's get right into the core difference here. Most of us, we use these what you see is what you get editors. You click the B button for bold and poof, the text looks bold instantly. Simple. LaTeX is, well, it's a totally different philosophy. It's what you see is what you mean. You don't format things directly. Instead, you use simple text commands to describe the meaning of your content. You're telling it, hey, this is a chapter title, or this is a figure caption. And then you let LaTeX worry about making it look perfect. This whole idea of separating your content from the style, that is the secret to its power.
And that brings us to our solution, LaTeX. At its heart, it's a professional typesetting system. That's just a fancy way of saying it's a system for arranging text on a page beautifully. It gives you this incredible fine-grained control and produces results that are just, well, stunning, especially when you're working on complex stuff filled with equations, figures, and tons of references.
So where did this thing even come from? Well, it all started back in 1978. A legendary computer scientist, Donald Knuth, created a program called LaTeX. See, he was obsessed with making beautiful books, especially ones with a ton of complex math. Then, a few years later, in 1984, Leslie Lamport built on top of LaTeX and created LaTeX. He basically built a system of shortcuts that made all that raw typesetting power much, much easier for the rest of us to use.
The easiest way to think about it is this. LaTeX is the engine. It's the raw, powerful motor doing all the incredibly heavy lifting behind the scenes. It's meticulously calculating how to arrange every single letter and symbol perfectly on the page.
So if LaTeX is the engine, then LaTeX, well, that's the user-friendly dashboard. It's the steering wheel and pedals you actually interact with. You write these simple, human-readable commands in a plain text file, and LaTeX acts as the translator, telling the powerful text engine what to do.
And make no mistake, this is not some niche little tool. Because it's so precise and so reliable, it has literally become the standard in tons of academic fields. When scientists share their research, a lot of the time they're actually sharing the LaTeX source files. It's the common language, the lingua franca, for any serious professional document, where every little detail really matters.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds pretty cool, but how do I even start? Well, the good news is, getting set up is actually really straightforward. You just need two key things to build your toolkit. Let's break them down.
First up, you need something called a distribution. Just think of this as the complete package that has the tech engine and all the other essential files. Second, you need an editor. This is the actual program where you'll be writing your document. So remember, the distribution is the engine, and the editor is the cockpit where you get to fly the plane.
Now for your distribution, the engine part, the choice is super simple. If you're on a Windows machine, you'll grab MeekTeX. If you're on a Mac, you'll get MacTeX. And for all you Linux users, it's TextLive. You just install the one for your system and bam, the engine is ready to go.
And for your cockpit, the editor, you have two fantastic options. You can install a dedicated program right on your computer, something like the super popular Text Studio, or you can just use a web-based platform like Overleaf, which means no installation at all, and it's amazing for working on projects with other people. Honestly, both are excellent ways to get started.
All right, you've got your tools, and now let's get to the really fun part and see how this all comes together. We are going to write our very first document, and I promise you, it is not nearly as intimidating as you might think.
Take a look at this. Seriously, this right here is the absolute bare minimum you need for a valid LaTeX document. First, you declare what kind of document you're making, in this case, just a simple article. Then you put all your content between the /begin document and /end document commands. That's it. Everything else just builds on top of this simple foundation.
So every LaTeX file really has two main parts. The first part is called the preamble. Think of it as the rule book for your document. It's where you set up all the global rules, what type of document, what font sizes, any special features you want to use. And then comes the body. The body is simple. It's just your content. It's where your words, your images, your tables, all that stuff actually goes.
So you've written some plain text with a few commands. How on earth does that become a polished, professional document?
This is where the magic happens. This is the aha moment. Let's watch the transformation. Okay, so here we are inside an editor. Could be Text Studio. You can see we've just typed out our preamble and the body. We've even added a few commands for a title, an author, and a date. But it's still just plain old text.
Now for the transformation. You don't have to know all the complex stuff happening in the background. You just hit one button. It's usually called Build and View, or something similar. A lot of the time, you can just press the F5 key.
And boom, there it is. Look at that. On the left, you've got your simple text commands, and on the right, you have a perfectly formatted, professional-looking PDF. The title is centered in bold, the spacing is perfect, the paragraphs are indented just right. LaTeX did all of that hard work for you. That right there, that's the aha moment.
And this really gets to the heart of why LaTeX is so powerful. By letting LaTeX handle the entire layout, you're free to do what actually matters. Concentrate on the substance of your writing. You just focus on your ideas, and you trust that the final output is going to be beautiful.
So you now have the fundamental knowledge to get started. You could create a resume, a lab report, maybe the first draft of your novel, or even just a simple letter. The system is ready and waiting for you. The only question left is, what are you going to create first?